Well, here's something most people never hear from their doctor. Every pound of fat you're trying to lose has to pass through your liver before it can leave your body. Doesn't matter how clean you eat, doesn't matter how hard you work out. If your liver can't process fat, your body will just hold on to it, sometimes for years. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 food hacks that help you fix your liver and unlock real fat loss when nothing else is working. The hidden food mistakes most people make every day that keep their liver clogged, and a simple step-by-step plan for exactly what to eat, what to stop, and when to do it. And at the end, I'll show you the 6th liver habit that has nothing to do with food, but takes pressure off your liver better than anything else on the list. The first food hack, number 1, flips a setting in your body that determines whether the food you eat gets burned or stored. It has nothing to do with what's on your plate. Imagine 2 workers at the same factory. They eat the same diet, they weigh the same, they exercise the same amount. Both of them are healthy in their 20s, no medical issues. But after a few years, one of them develops fatty liver disease, the other one doesn't. What's the difference? The time when they work. One of them works days, one of them works nights. In a study of 281,000 workers, the ones working night shifts were 27% more likely to develop fatty liver. Even after researchers controlled for their diet, their weight, their alcohol, their exercise, just working nights was enough to give them fatty liver from nothing. Here's why that matters for you. Even if you don't work nights, your liver runs on a built-in 24-hour clock. And during the day, it's set up to process food and burn fuel. But at nighttime, it shifts into a repair mode where it does things like clear out waste, balance out your blood sugar. It's helping your body tap into stored fat. So when you eat late or constantly snack from morning until midnight, you're forcing your liver to handle incoming food when it's supposed to be doing the opposite. That prevents it from burning fat when it's designed to. So the first food hack is to eat on your liver's clock. And the way you do that is by putting all of your food inside a 10-hour eating window. So if your first meal is at 8 in the morning, your last meal and food is done by 6 o'clock at night. Breakfast time, if you can have a meal 1 or 2 hours after you wake up, that signals the liver to kickstart and get going. The further you delay that, the further you delay the signal. And so if you've been stuck with fatty liver or your fat loss has stalled, try going back to a nice breakfast, liver-friendly breakfast. If you do push breakfast back or maybe skip it, make that afternoon meal, your lunch, the larger meal of the day if you can, instead of dinner. That's when your liver's fat processing power is at the highest and when bile and digestive enzymes are the most active. After that, try to keep dinner light. And then, like I said, finish by 6 or 7 o'clock, 8 p.m. being the absolute latest, and no snacking after that point. This is where most people sabotage their fat loss without even realizing it. They eat clean all day and then dinner turns into the biggest meal and then snacks show up at 9 o'clock. And then the liver is wrestling with food when it should be repairing the body. Every night that happens, you're trading another shot at fat loss for another night of fat storage. Hack 2 catches most people off guard because the foods doing the most damage to your liver are often the ones you think are helping you lose fat. You buy the low-calorie snack, the high-protein bar, the sugar-free drink, or the gluten-free crackers, and on paper, all of that looks like fat loss food. But a lot of those healthy products are loaded with ingredients your body was never designed to process. And when your liver has to spend its day cleaning up that mess, it's stuck in cleanup mode instead of fat burning mode. The fix is to stop eating what I call CRAP. C-R-A-P is an acronym that I've used for years in my teachings. It's in my brand new book, Livingood Approved, and it is a way to identify the foods that quietly destroy your liver and keep your body holding on to fat. The C stands for processed and refined carbohydrates and sugars. This category includes the obvious ones like soda, candy, pastries, high fructose corn syrup, but it includes the foods that most people don't think of sugar. Stuff like white bread, white pasta, bagels, muffins, packaged cereals, granola bars, crackers, chips, flavored yogurt, sweetened coffee drinks, fruit juice, orange juice. All of these turn into sugar inside of your body. And a lot of that sugar ends up in your liver. And when your liver gets overloaded with sugar day after day, it does the only thing that it can. It turns the extra into fat. That's how fatty liver actually starts in someone who's never even touched alcohol. So when you read the ingredient label, watch out for anything ending in OSE, glucose, fructose, dextrose, maltose, along with corn-based maltodextrin, cane sugar, fruit juice concentrate. The best place to start is the biggest sugar source in your day, which for most people is the drinks that they have. Swap your soda or your juice for water with lemon or sparkling water or an unsweetened tea. And if you need something sweet, reach for stevia, monk fruit, or allulose. Now, allulose ends with OSE, but it is one of the exceptions to the OSE rule, along with cellulose, which is fiber. For everything else, lean toward food that doesn't dump sugar into your liver in the first place. Eggs instead of cereal, berries with a clean protein instead of a pastry, zucchini noodles or bean noodles instead of regular pasta, a slice of sprouted grain bread instead of white or even whole grain wheat bread. Now next, the R in the crap analogy stands for rancid oils, and these are everywhere. Chips, crackers, salad dressings, mayo, fried restaurant foods, healthy food bars, most roasted nuts, and believe it or not, a lot of supplements. These oils don't go rancid in your pantry. They start out rancid. To get oil out of a soybean or a corn kernel, manufacturers have to use high heat chemical solvents to extract it. Then they bleach it, they deodorize it just to make it look like food. By the time it hits your bottle or your food, the fat is already damaged. And then your body uses that damaged fat to build new cells, including your liver. It's the big deal for fat loss because damaged cells drive inflammation, congestion. It keeps your liver stuck in storage mode and doesn't allow it to properly burn fat and use nutrients. And believe it or not, those damaged fats can stay in your cells for up to 6 years. The oils to be aware of include soybean, canola, corn oil, cottonseed, vegetable, and regular sunflower or safflower oil. Now, an organic or high oleic version of those would be okay, but you got to watch out for them and replace with avocado for higher heat cooking, extra virgin olive oil for lower heat or dressings, coconut oil, grass-fed butter, or ghee. Those swaps alone can replace just about every cooking situation that you'll run into. The A in the crap analogy stands for artificial ingredients. This is where a lot of people get fooled because the front of the package says diet or zero sugar or keto, but the ingredient list is full of chemicals, and these chemicals are especially bad for your liver. Take sucralose, the artificial sweetener in Splenda, in thousands of sugar-free products. It has been shown to actively block the system your liver uses to push toxins out of your body, meaning it will literally jump to the front of the line to be detoxed. So when you have sucralose in your system, you're not eliminating all the other toxins you run into with medications and foods and chemicals throughout the day. So you're not just adding more for your liver to deal with, you're disabling the system it uses to clean itself out. It's a double hit for fat loss because a liver that can't clear toxins is a liver that stays stuck in storage mode. The artificial sweeteners to be aware of include sucralose, aspartame, asulfamine potassium, ACE-K, and saccharin. The preservatives to look out for the most are BHA, BHT, TBHQ, sodium benzoate. And you want to stay away from artificial colors entirely, the red, yellow, and blue dots. These ingredients are hiding in everything from diet drinks to protein bars, flavored yogurts, sugar-free candy, salad dressings, condiments, even kids' multivitamins. So flip every product around and read the label. Next, finally, the P in crap stands for processed proteins. A lot of people are eating more protein right now, especially to support fat loss, which is great. But here's a principle I want you to remember. You're not just what you eat, you're what you ate. The food that was eaten by whatever protein you are consuming, because oftentimes it's animal protein, you are also consuming. Conventional cows, chickens, farm-raised fish are raised heavily on sprayed grain, given growth hormones, and given antibiotics. Whatever they're eating or got injected into them works its way up the food chain to you. All of that gets concentrated in their tissues, and when you eat them, it all ends up in your liver. A lot of processed meats add another layer on top of that. Deli turkey, ham, bacon, hot dogs, sausage, they usually preserve them with sodium nitrates or sodium nitrites, which your liver has to filter out as well. So start there. If you eat a lot of deli meat, look for nitrite-free, then upgrade the rest of your animal proteins when you can. Grass-fed, grass-finished when it comes to beef, pasture-raised for chicken and eggs, wild-caught for fish, and be careful with plant-based meat substitutes because most of them stack multiple crap categories into one product. Bad oils with artificial sweeteners with processed protein. So with all four letters, don't try to fix everything in a single day. Pick one showing up the most in your diet right now and then start cleaning that up. Every letter you clean up takes more pressure off your liver, and every bit of pressure off your liver is more bandwidth your body has to start burning fat instead of storing it. To make this easy to help you with reading ingredients, I created a simple scanning app called Livingood Daily that you can download, and for free, it'll take a picture of the ingredient label or scan the barcode for you of the food that you're eating to tell you, is it full of any of the CRAP that is usually in a lot of our packaged foods. So check that out. I'll put a link for that below. There's 11,000 ingredients in our food supply, so it just helps you comb through those and understand, is this Dr. Livingood approved or is it not when it comes to food? Let's look at hack number 3. This next hack triggers the same fat loss hormone that drugs like Ozempic are designed to mimic, except your body makes it for free. Every time you eat fat, your liver releases a yellowish green fluid called bile that breaks the fat down so that your body can actually use it. Bile is basically your body's dish soap for fat. But as your liver gets bogged down from all the processed food, the chemical, the medications, and the waste that it has to handle every day, bile production slows down and the bile you do make gets thick and sluggish. So you may notice the signs without realizing what they are. Bloating, feeling heavy after eating fatty meals. From a fat loss standpoint, it's a big deal. So how do you get your bile flowing again without overhauling your entire diet? Turns out your body already has a switch built in for exactly this. Most people just never use it. And the way to flip that switch is with some habits that you can do right before your meal. And some of them date way back in human history, like eating bitter foods. When that bitter taste hits your tongue, it wakes your liver up and tells it to release a fresh batch of bile before the food arrives. That takes a huge amount of pressure off your liver, and then it gives your body a real shot at actually breaking down the fat that you're eating. Here's where it gets really interesting though. That same bitter signal helps to trigger the release of a gut hormone called GLP-1. If that name sounds familiar, it's because GLP-1 is the exact same hormone that drugs like Ozempic are designed to mimic. Your body is built to make GLP-1 free every time you eat, but only if you give it the right signal. And bitter foods are one of the most reliable ways to fire up that food naturally. So how does it work? Well, I recommend starting with one meal a day. This probably works best at dinner. And 5 to 15 minutes before you eat the meal, simply eat or drink something bitter and make sure you actually taste it. Otherwise, it doesn't work. And the best place to start is bitter greens. This is why starting your meal with a side salad can really pay off. These are leafy vegetables that our great grandparents ate regularly that have mostly disappeared from our plates and our routines and have been replaced with milder options like just iceberg lettuce. But the strongest bitter greens, right? We got spinach, which is low on that end, arugula, even higher, mustard greens, watercress. My dad used to eat that a ton when I was a kid. Radishes, beets, the greens on top of them, incredibly nutritious. A lot of people just throw them away. Dandelion greens, I know my grandparents used to commonly have that. The least bitter is regular lettuce, and maybe spinach, slightly better. The most bitter being the dandelion. Regardless of what you have access to, just starting to get back into or creating the habit of a side salad can really kickstart your bile and fill you up with some good fiber and stimulate GLP-1 so that you do not overeat. Now, a couple other easy examples to stimulate bile. One is for breakfast. Having coffee 30 minutes before is a bile stimulant. Another simple option is taking a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, in some lukewarm water, a little bit of fresh lemon in there before your meal. The sour taste there fires up that same reflex as bitter, both signaling your liver to release bile. The next hack, number 4, can take a massive load off your liver every single week, and it costs less than $5 at the grocery store. There is a specific group of vegetables that your liver needs in order to function at its full capacity. They contain 2 compounds that your liver uses as fuel in order to do its cleanup work, and without them, your liver really slows down because the manufacturing facility can't run as fast because it doesn't have the raw materials that it needs, which means fat loss slows down right along with it. The first one is called sulforaphane. Sulforaphane is one of the most powerful liver-supporting compounds on the planet. It activates the cleanup and the defense system your liver uses to clear out everything that's been piling up inside. The second compound is called indole, and research has shown it directly reduces fat buildup inside the liver itself. So what's this family of vegetables that I'm talking about that is rich in these compounds? Cruciferous vegetables. Simple foods like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, bok choy, kale. These are the foods most people already know they should eat, but never eat consistently enough to actually get the benefit. Your goal should be 3 to 5 servings per week to start. And if you tolerate them well, it doesn't create a lot of bloating or digestive disturbance, work your way up to having some on most days, every day, if you can ideally get there. And a serving is about a cup if it's cooked, 2 cups if it's raw, which is easier to hit than most people think. Now, here's a pro tip that almost no one knows about that can double the power of every serving. It really only kind of pertains to broccoli, but this is a really common one that people do as a side. We regularly do it. Makes a massive difference though. If you chop up your vegetables ahead of time in preparation for your meal, specifically with the broccoli, you just allow it to air out for 30 minutes before you cook it. The resting time lets the broccoli create more sulforaphane before the heat ever touches it. And then I would just lightly steam them for 3 to 5 minutes. If you go way too hot or way too long, you can destroy some of the compounds that you're trying to get. But it's a great side that we regularly use to try to get some extra fiber and extra liver supporting compounds in. Now, the Livingoods also keep a bowl of these fresh cruciferous vegetables in the fridge pretty much at all times. And our kids and both Nurse Livingood and myself snack off them, especially while we're preparing a meal or if we just need a midday snack. And we use a simple rancid oil-free ranch or a rancid oil-free hummus, and then we dip those vegetables in it, and we have those and our steamed sides multiple times a week. Number 5 is the last food hack that we're talking about, but it's one of the biggest missing pieces that I see in people trying to burn fat naturally. They're not short on fat, they're short on the right fat. Most people are loading up on rancid seed oils, packaged foods, restaurant foods. Now, once these oils get into your body, they don't just pass through, they get stored in your cells, in your fat tissue, your liver, even in your brain. And like I said, they can take up to 6 years to fully clear out. Meanwhile, your liver is getting almost none of the fats that it needs to optimally calm inflammation and then help it release stored fat. So the fix isn't to cut fat from your diet altogether. It's to swap the wrong fat for the right fat and stay disciplined in not eating any sort of rancid fats. And then there's one specific fat that does the opposite of what the seed oils do. It helps to calm the liver inflammation. It repairs the damage, and it gives your body the signal that it's safe to start burning stored fat. That fat is omega-3. So the 5th food hack is to eat omega-3s like your liver depends on it, because it does. The specific omega-3 that I want to focus on is EPA, and this is an animal-based fat, mostly found in fatty fish and sometimes in eggs. EPA is what your body uses to rebuild your cells with healthier fat, which gives your liver the signal that it's finally safe to let go of what it's been holding on to. Now, here's where this gets really interesting. There is a study where researchers paired EPA with short fasts, and in just 13 days, the toxic rancid oils that form linoleic acid from the seed oils in participants that was stuck in their cells dropped by 24%, and their EPA levels jumped by 300%. A fat that normally takes years to clear measurably out of the body came out in less than 2 weeks. And the protocol they used was surprisingly simple. Here's how they did it. They started by taking higher doses of EPA. I would begin with at least 300 milligrams as a baseline to take every single day. Then once or twice a week, do a 20 to 24 hour fast. That means you're maybe only having 1 meal a day, very simple, or you could just skip a day of eating altogether. You could still drink water and your coffee and unsweetened tea during that fast, and you can still take your supplements. Then the most important part is what you eat right after you're done fasting. That first meal is when your body's rebuilding, and whatever fat you eat is what your cells are going to get made of. So right then, you want to load up on omega-3 rich fatty fish, omega-3 rich supplementation, either one. One of the best breakfast options, my favorite fat burning breakfasts, if you choose to go from breakfast to breakfast, is one in which I made a whole video. It supercharges your cells with a bunch of healthy fats and enables the nutrients to get in and the toxins to get out. So it's a very omega-3 rich combined with a form of sulfur to stimulate your body, and you can have it for breakfast or lunch or really any meal of the day. I'll put a link in the description for that special breakfast food that kickstarts start fat burning mode. The next best option is a clean animal protein with avocado oil or olive oil or butter. You check out my egg video below to see how powerful eggs are when you have 3 or 4 of them in your day, what it can do to weight loss, what it can do to liver health. I'll put a link to that video below as well. Now, another thing that I do on a daily basis to top this up, especially because I don't eat enough fatty fish, are omega-3 rich supplements. And from the right fatty fish, you can extract that out. If you protect it well, it will not oxidize, and it can give you that exact same benefit without actually having to consume the fish itself. But you want to read the label correctly. Most fish oil bottles advertise that the total fish oil amount on the front is some bloated number, but that number is not the one we want to look at. We want to flip the bottle over and read the supplement fact panel to understand how much combined EPA and DHA that is actually in it. Remember, we want a plentiful amount of EPA. That's the number that actually counts. So the omega-3 I take personally has a concentrated dose of EPA and DHA, actually double what you find in most standard fish oils. I'll drop a link to that in the description below so you can check it out. Now, there's one more liver habit that I want you to know about, but it has nothing to do with what you eat. It's exercise, but not for the reason most people think. The real value of exercise for your liver is what it does to your muscles. When you move the right way, your muscles start acting like a sponge, pulling sugar and fat out of your bloodstream and then using them for fuel instead of leaving them for your liver to deal with. That takes a massive load off your liver, lowers the fat building up inside it, and makes the other 5 hacks that we just discussed work even faster. In fact, research has shown that the right kind of exercise is 3.5 times more likely to produce a meaningful drop in liver fat than standard medical care. And it does it independently of weight loss. That means you can start seeing your liver heal before the scale ever changes. Here's the catch. Most people are doing the wrong kind of exercise for this. Long, slow cardio that doesn't actually train your muscles to soak up the fuel the way that your liver needs them to. The right combination is short, higher intensity work paired with movements that build muscle. And you can get both done at home with no equipment in less than 10 minutes a day. So in my other video, I walk you through the exact routine, including modifications, so you can start where you are, even if you haven't exercised in years. So click here to watch it next, and I'll see you there.